Okay, Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera. So now we continue with lake ecosystem. So actually for lake ecosystem, you should be able to describe, okay, the lake ecosystem based on the lake zonation. Okay, so first of all, if you look at this diagram, okay, so how we divide the zonation of lake, actually it is based on the first one we call as light penetration, second distance from shore and water depth. Okay, so based on light penetration, there are two zones here, which are the first one we call as Photic Zone, the other one are a Photic Zone. For distance from shore and water depth, okay, there are two zones here. Okay, this one we call as Littoral Zone, another one Lymnetic Zone. Okay, so firstly we look at the diagram first. Okay, so based on light penetration, so where does Photic Zone and also a Photic Zone is located? So Photic Zone is located at the upper layer here. Okay, and then a Photic Zone is located at the lower layer. So actually a Photic Zone also we can call as Profunda Zone. Okay, but if the question asks you based on light penetration, so you have to stress a Photic Zone. Okay, so now we look at the description of Photic Zone. Okay, so what is Photic Zone? So Photic Zone is the upper layer where light is sufficient for photosynthesis. Okay, so since Photic Zone is located at the upper layer, so the sun can penetrate directly to this zone. So that's why light is sufficient for the organism in this zone to undergo photosynthesis. Okay, and then what is a Photic Zone? So a Photic Zone is referred to the lower layer that receive little or no light. So since this layer receive little or no light, so the oxygen concentration here is decreased. Because of what? Source of oxygen comes from the process of photosynthesis. So since light is insufficient, okay, so that's why process of photosynthesis cannot be occur. Alright, and then in this zone also, detritus sink through the zone. Okay, detritus sinks through this zone to the bottom sediment. Okay, so what is detritus? Detritus means the dead organism. Okay, for the example, if there is a dead organism, for the example, if the fish die, okay, so what happened to the fish? It will sink through the zone and then to the bottom sediment. So that's why diverse bacterial decomposers will live in this zone, okay, and also at the bottom sediment, and they enrich the water with nutrients. Okay, so if you look at here, in between Photic and also a Photic Zone, this point we call as compensation point. So what is compensation point? It is a point of balance between respiration and photosynthesis as determined by the intensity of light at a given temperature. Okay, so now we look at distance from shore and water depth. Okay, so if you look at this diagram, okay, the zone which by it is close to shore here, so this one we call as Littoral Zone. Okay, and then Littoral Zone, it is shallow and also well lit water. Alright, so and then if you look at the zone here, okay, there are rooted and floating aquatic plants, okay, dominant in this zone. So since there are rooted and aquatic plants in this zone, so the process of photosynthesis will be increased. Okay, and then you can see here the light is also able to penetrate through this zone. So that's why process of photosynthesis can occur. So since process of photosynthesis can occur, so the oxygen concentration are increased. Okay, beside that, in this zone also, okay, it may be occupied by insect larvae, frog and also small fish. Alright, and then what is the difference with before that, so the in Littoral Zone, diversity is greatest and then it is most productive zone. Okay, and then next, photosynthesis is greatest because light is abundant and receive nutrient input from surrounding land. Okay, now we look at Lymnetic Zone. So where does Lymnetic Zone? So this is the Lymnetic Zone. Okay, so Lymnetic Zone is away from shore. So if you compare with Littoral Zone is near to the shore, but Lymnetic Zone, it is away from shore, and it is refers as open surface water and well lit. Okay, then it extend down as far as sunlight penetrate to permit photosynthesis. So means that in Lymnetic zone also, the site is also able to penetrate through this zone. So photosynthesis also can occur at this zone. Okay, the main organism occupied in this zone are phytoplankton and zooplankton. Okay, so at the bottom, okay, beneath Lymnetic zone, actually this one, okay, this one also we call as Profunda Zone. Okay, so this is Profunda Zone. So it is located beneath Lymnetic zone, and then light does not penetrate effectively to this depth. Okay, and then absent in smaller and shallow lakes. So usually for shallow and smaller lakes, there is no Profunda Zone. Okay, because of what? For shallow lakes, the light is able to penetrate, okay, through the bottom of the lake. So for Profunda Zone, the light is unable to penetrate. Okay, and then food drift into Profunda Zone from littoral and Lymnetic Zone. Okay, and then communities of bacteria and decomposers will occupy in this zone. Okay, and then the other one you can see here. So this is the Benthic Zone. So what is Benthic Zone? It is refers to the sediment at the soil or at the bottom of the lake. Okay, so the bottom of the lake here we refers as the Benthic Zone. And then it is dominated by bacteria and also fungi or decomposers. So that's why this zone also we call as zone of decomposition. Okay. So this is all about the lake ecosystem. Okay, so remember you have to classify the lake ecosystem based on the lake zonation. Okay. Okay, so what is the example of food chain that you can give for lake ecosystem? Okay, the example you can give phytoplankton. So phytoplankton is the producer eaten by zooplankton. So zooplankton is the primary consumer, which is the zooplankton eaten by small fish. So small fish is the secondary consumer, and the last one, the small fish will be eaten by big fish. So big fish is the tertiary consumer.